G'day, I'm Ash. This is the 1.81 of the Valkyries dev server. In fact, this is a preliminary patch and the very first iteration of the dev server, so as per normal with these kind of videos, everything here is subject to change, and well, there's going to be bugs and other critical things with the game, so expect that this is not going to be the final versions of what we see, just merely a quick look at some of the things that are going on. So in today's video we've been taking a look at the vehicles, particularly the tanks. I've done another video addressing aircraft and helicopters, and there might be another couple of extra videos on the way. So this being the first dev server video, let's get straight into it. On screen right now you're seeing the M1 Abrams, the IP. I don't know much about the IP version of the Abrams. I know that it is IP, I think means improved. I know that the M1 Abrams here on screen right now has a different turret to the other M1 Abrams, but unfortunately, seeing I don't actually own the particular Abrams beforehand, I really can't tell you what's different about the machines, apart from that they've got more armor. It's a rank 6, battle rating 10.0, it's got a 105mm gun, it's basically the improved armor package. I don't know whether it has extra armor or anything like that. Again, I'm not really a tanker, I'm just here to showcase some of the things. As for what you can expect on armor-wise, its thickness is 31mm, although with the ERA and various things, it stops shells pretty damn well. And I know that the top shell on the Leopard, if I go to the protection analysis and select Germany here, and Leopard with a DM12 shell pointed at the front, penetration is not possible. Equivalent protection against specified armor on the front there, 1000mm. Then direct center is about 500 to 600mm. On the turret here, it doesn't get much better. So from front on, it's harder to penetrate. However, you can still shoot it in the turret wing and in the lower plate here. It's, you know, it's just an upgraded Abrams. There's not really much to say about this vehicle. America also gets some other interesting vehicles this patch, that being the M247 Sergeant York. Ironically, this vehicle is basically the anti-aircraft version of the pattern, and has interesting armament because it holds two Bofors 40mm cannons, and these are the cannons that are British, so it's quite ironic that the Americans decide to use this on a, well, SPAA chassis, so to speak. Nothing too unusual about this. It actually has radar, has 3 crew, and is pretty easy to take out. All you've got to do is shoot it in the turret. There's not much to it. This is the T54E1 or T54E1 with a 105mm gun, a 12.7mm machine gun on top, and a 7.62. Nothing too special about this one, but for now, on the first iteration of the dev server, we've got access to the German pattern. I don't know what exactly is different about the German pattern, apart from the fact that it has different protection on the side skirt here. It's got a weird sort of track design, and it's got some night optics and M3 machine gun on top, some various other bits and pieces, and is basically a rank 5 battle rating 8.0 M48, but with a German, I believe, 105mm gun. So this is going to be an effective vehicle, but in gun form only. The other vehicle that Germany get is the Leopard A1A1. A1, 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 A2, A3. You put a bunch of numbers right next to a Leopard and well, you can get various different modifications of Leopards. I believe there is in total about 15 or 16 different designations of Leopards in terms of various models with different numbers behind them. But this one's interesting because it has an L44 gun. It's the first Leopard with a 120mm Rheinmetall L44 cannon. And while it's not really the same as some of the other top tier vehicles, this vehicle is a premium rank 5 9.0 battle rating vehicle, and it's got a crew of 4, has a top speed of 65 kilometers an hour, and well, it looks pretty, but again, it's just a stock standard Leopard, basically no armor, doesn't have any protection, and if you shoot it in the hull right here, you're going to go through a shit ton of ammo. there's not really much to say about it. It's just another Leopard. So for those of you who are looking for something to grind in terms of a Leopard, well, there you go. You've now got a premium to grind out your German tech trees. This is the TAM, also known as the Argentino Mediano. I think it's the Argentinia's medium tank. And this thing's interesting for several reasons, because it is a different hull from what you'd expect. It's basically a medium/light tank with a Leopard's main armament, which is the 105mm gun. It can carry 50 rounds of ammunition. It's got a 7.62, and it's also got a coaxial on the very top of the turret there. It has basically no armor, has nothing whatsoever. It's supposed to be good for the Argentinian climate and whatever. It's got 4 crew, and like most main battle tanks, well, it doesn't have the greatest access in ammunition. But it does have the DM-23 and the DM-12, so its ammunition choice, while not great, at 9.0, it's mainly going to be a spotter vehicle. Then again, what can you expect from something that is being designed for Argentina? The USSR has a majority of tanks. I say a majority. They've got 3 new vehicles, a T-80B, a T-55AM, and a BMP-2. Let's start off with the BMP-2, because I believe this is the most interesting aircraft. Sorry, tank. This particular vehicle, while it is technically an armoured fighting vehicle, it has a log on the back. A dedicated slot for a log at that. It's also got an amazing turret, and it's also got what you'd call an ATGM launcher on the very top of the turret there. This point, it pivots around and is separate from the rest of the turret, but it's okay. It's got smoke rounds, and it has a 30mm automatic cannon with 500 rounds. And what's interesting to note about this particular automatic cannon is it was used on some attack helicopters that the Russians used. So maybe we'll see an attack version of some other helicopters that the Russians get using this particular gun. Aside from that, armor. What armor? Apparently this vehicle is also supposed to be amphibious, like the BMP-1, which we've already got in the game. There's nothing really much to say. It's got 4 crew. If you shoot it directly down the right side, you'll knock out basically half the crew. In fact, you'll knock out all the crew. Sorry, it's got a crew of 3. And there's not really much to say about it. Its modifications is where it gets interesting. The anti-tank guided missile can penetrate 600mm of armor at all ranges. Aside from that, you don't really have to worry much about the 30mm APT. However, it does have 100mm of penetration at, you know, well, 10 meters. So there's that. Now, I don't know much about the Russian tanks. In fact, I don't know much about tanks in general. But what I can tell you, from what people have told me, is this particular vehicle, good, it's got a log, it means Russian, because Russian tanks always have logs, don't they? This is a version of a vehicle which actually has a gas turbine engine. It's where the Russians decided they switched from their diesels to a gas turbine. And, well, this thing has a greater acceleration and, well, I wouldn't say a greater top speed, but certainly is mobile for a vehicle that weighs 42 tons, and that's actually kind of light when you're talking about a main battle tank. You've seen the videos and the things online about the T-80B in Afghanistan and various other places, but again, this is a rank 6 battle rating 10.0, and, well, it has a 125mm gun, a 12.7mm machine gun on the very top here, the anti-aircraft machine gun, and a coaxial 7.62mm. There's not really much to say about it. Armor-wise, it's basically a T-64, but a little bit more upgraded. It's 30mm at the front. The turret has 180mm, so it's pretty light. And X-ray, well, it's got all the wonderful ERA on composite armor. So composite armor, cast homogeneous armor, 180mm, quartz core, 120, cast homogeneous armor, 195. Again, this is only protecting the front of the vehicle, not the sides and the rear. And there's one single big slab of composite armor on the front plate there. Aside from that, it doesn't really get much else protection. All the rounds for the vehicle are stored around the turret basket. And, well, that's pretty much it. Great Britain only gets one vehicle for the 1.81 patch so far. In fact, this is another infantry fighting vehicle. It seems to be a major factor in the patch. This has a 30mm automatic cannon as its main primary armament, and a secondary armament of a Milan ATGM. On top of that, it's also got 8 rounds of smoke launchers, which provide 180 degrees of smoke cover, which is fairly effective. And, well, it's a battle rating 6 8.3 vehicle, but it also comes with interesting modifications. Once I install the new modifications for the additional protection, you get this composite armor protection, which allows extra armor on the side here of 70mm. And well, the Milan missile, it can penetrate 600mm at all ranges. So, again, at 0 degrees, that should be fairly effective as an ATGM, but keep in mind you've also got 8 rounds of this thing, and the reload, well, it's quite lengthy, so make sure your shots count. The Batchat 25T, or as it's called in this game, the Char 25T. This is a medium/light tank, and it has a 90mm gun. It's a battle rating 6.7 rank 4 vehicle, and this is going to be one of those vehicles that I pair up with my Lorraine 40T and just trash Allied/Axis teams with, because I have a feeling that this vehicle is going to be great, but not necessarily overpowered. It's got the same 90mm gun as other French guns, so the ammunition's basically the same as well. It's not thinking too much to write home about, apart from the fact that it's got a slightly bit more armour than the Lorraine. Besides from that, decent mobility at 65 kilometers an hour, and with a decent amount of crew, which has got 4 crew and a bunch of ammunition. So yeah, there's that. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Sorry I can't be as much help when taking a look at some of these vehicles. I'm not really a tanker myself, as I explain in every dev server, but it's good to give you guys who like tanks and don't watch other YouTube channels the ability to do so. But I highly recommend that you check out some other content creators who specialise in ground vehicles, as they'll probably go into a lot more detail about operational history, why, how come, and various other bits and pieces, and they'll go into it in a slight more depth. Anyway, my name's Ash, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next dev server video.